What's up, everybody? I'm the Mangoose. You are awesome, and today I'm going to take you through the card system for OverPrime. I tried to stream this earlier, didn't quite work out for me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you acquire card points, how the card system works, how many slots you have, why you have those 3 empty card slots along with 6 card slots down there at your bottom right, and then we'll go through each and every card to find out what they do and help give you a leg up on the 18th when the game becomes available to everyone. In order to get the game, you're going to have to go to their Discord. I'll have that linked in the video description below, as well as a pinned comment in case you're watching on your phone. So let's get into it. So the way you get card points is you get gold. If you see the gold gauge to the left of my health and meter bar, that will fill up as you get hit. Well, if you get last hits on minions, it'll fill up more. If you're just near a minion that dies, it'll fill up a little bit. But as it fills up completely, that's when you earn another card point. Another thing I wanted to highlight, the minion health bars are a little bit offset. So like you would normally aim directly below that, you wouldn't hit the minion. So you have to, they're offset, it's like shooting a fish. They're offset a little bit to the right. Now I missed that last hit because I was T-acking. And they do highlight a little bit red, so there is kind of a bit of a execution mechanic here. There, I got that one. Got another one. And you can see that gold bar filling up to the left. And bam, we got 2 card points now. Well, actually we got 5 because I didn't spend any. But I'm gonna get a few more card points here, and then we'll head back to the shop and show you how that works. So we're back at our card shop. You hit left control to open it up, and as you can see, you got the 3 active slots, the 3 passive slots. What that means is if you put a health potion in a passive slot, you're not gonna be able to use it. So we'll close out the menu here, and you see that the health potion is in my card slots, but it's not in an active card slot. So I wouldn't be able to use that health potion. Luckily for you, if you do make that mistake, everything sells back for the exact amount that you purchased it for. So there we go, sell item, and I'm back to 11 card points, which is kind of nice. It makes it to where you can buy early game cards and you won't be penalized for it at all, which that might be good, that might be bad. That remains to be seen. So if we come in here and we get, you know, a mixture of items. So say I want a health potion, I'll put that in an active slot. I want a mana potion, I'll put that in an active slot. I want a ward, I'll put that in an active slot. And then I come down here and I want like this Guardian's Ring, that's passive, I'll put it in a passive slot. Now as we look through and we see, oh shit, I don't want that, I want that Wizard's Bag, but now I've only got 6 points. Well, you can sell stuff back. Come on, let me sell. So I'll sell that and I've got 8 points. Sell that, I got 9, sell that, and we can get our Wizard's Bag. And that's going to give us more ability damage. So that's how the item system works in OverPrime. So let's go ahead, we're going to take a long, slow, very boring look at all these items so that you can plan your attack come the 18th. Okay, so here we have all of the cards. Now, this is going to be a boring look. We're going to take a look at every single one of these cards and what they do, what their passives are, and if they have actives. I do warn you, some of the descriptions are in Korean, so I have no idea what the card does. Kind of a fun thing, they named some of the cards after various Paragon YouTube or Twitch streamers. Not really YouTube streamers. They didn't name them after any YouTubers, just all Twitch streamers. Everybody needs to get off Twitch's dick, man. Alright, so Sentry Ward, just place a ward that you can see invisible units but has a smaller view range than the Vision Ward. So that costs 1 card point there. And then the Vision Ward is, you know, the exact opposite. It gives you a larger area of vision, but it can't detect invisible units. So this would be good if you're not facing a Kalari. This would be good if you are facing a Kalari. Then we have Leather Boots, move speed increased by 3%. I don't like any kind of boots in games. However, if you're going to do them, I like doing them like this. This is definitely an item that you would drop eventually because it doesn't give you any other sort of statistics. So you would get these leather boots for early game laning phase. After that, you would end up dropping the boots. Detection Magic Book makes you a detector so you can find nearby hidden enemy units for a short duration. I think this is just a shit on Kalari card. Mana Potion, you know, regenerates mana just like any other mana generation potion. The thing is, the health potion and the mana potion stop working if you take damage, so you have to be very careful with that, especially with the health potion. You're going to have a tendency when you're being attacked to try and use your health potion to kind of get some regen and gain the upper hand. It's not going to work. It's immediately going to be canceled. Magic Shards just gives max health and max mana. Lumberjack Axe, this is a passive item. It gives you 1 damage. It says passive effect failing deals 20% more damage on minions. Won't work for heroes. However, it then says damage 25%, so I don't know if it's 20 or 25. And it only works for melee heroes, so don't be thinking you can just pick this up on an ADC. The health potion we already kind of discussed. Vision Ward we discussed. Health Ring, this is kind of like the old Health Ring from Paragon, just max health 40 and gives you 3 HP 5 healing per second, so kind of nice, especially for off-laners, maybe even mid-laners. Guardian's Ring, max health 20, defense 8%, and that defense is against basic abilities. Skill defense, I think there's what the magic defense is what they call it for ability armor. Shovel, this is a passive, just gives you 4 damage. Beginner Shield, max health 100, defense 5%, 3 cost card. Guardian's Necklace, magic defense 10%, 4 cost card. Earth Ruby, that's max health 200, and that's a 5 cost card. Vitality Enhancement Stone, max mana 120, max health 120, 5 cost card. Elder Staff, mana regen 0.4 per second, max mana 90, skill damage 5%, that is a 5 cost card. Claw Hammer, attack speed 10%, 5 cost card. Mana Stone, mana regen 0.6, max mana 150, 5 cost card. Shield of Shui, passive item, damage 6, critical 4%, critical damage 2.5%, and that is a 6 cost card. Blood Token, you get 4 damage and 2% lifesteal, 6 cost card. Spiny Stick, max health 70, damage 5, and that is a 6 cost card. Indomitable Helm, max health 50, defense 5%, healing 4 per second, so that's a health regen card, 6 cost card. Karna's Greatsword, damage 12, 8 cost card. Wizard's Bag, skill cast range 100, so you get a larger range or longer range on your skill abilities, such as like Gideon's Rock would go further. Phase Untamed Growth, you could throw that out further. Kind of cool, kind of nice. Max mana 130, mana regen 0.6 per second, magic damage penetration 5%, skill damage 5%. Seems like a pretty strong one. 10 cost card. Asura, this is a cast type, instant activation, active item, damage 6, attack speed 5%. The active effect, movement speed increases for a certain period of time. Duration is 3.5 seconds. Bonus move speed 30%. That is a 10 cost card. Galestone, passive item, attack speed 20%. You can only purchase 2 of them, and it is a 10 cost card. Gravity Staff, it is a cast type hero choice, cast range 1000, max health 60. Active effect, gravity, pushes selected enemy to the direction where they are looking at. So I guess you could force somebody into a position they don't want to be, like maybe if they're just outside your tower range and there's no minions under the tower, you can push them under your tower. I don't know. We'll have to see how this one works, really. That's a 10 cost card. Oasis is an active item. Max health 220, healing 4 per second, max mana 120, and it has an on-use effect, heals nearby teammates for 250, and this is a 10 cost card. Protection of Marty Rivia, movement speed 5%, max health 200, max mana 100, mana regen 0.6 per second, The active effect, select yourself or one of your allies to provide movement speed and shield for a certain period of time. Duration 3 seconds, bonus shield 300, bonus move speed 30%. This is an 11 cost card. Pancakes is an active item, damage 16, lifesteal 4%, active effect rabies. Place ward that provides small area vision but detects invisible units. So you get a sentry ward off of this. Duration 6 seconds, bonus move speed 10%, bonus attack 40%, defense reduce 40%. I don't get that. It places a ward that provides small area vision but detects invisible units, and then it tells us it has a duration of 6 seconds and does all this other stuff. So I think the tooltip is wrong here. I think that rabies does not place a ward. I think it probably gives you the bonus move speed, bonus attack speed, and reduces enemy armor. And that is the max purchase is 1. That is an 11 cost item. Seal of Madness, max mana 230, max health 250, mana regen 1.7 per second. That is a 12 cost card. Wizard's Book, mana regen 2 per second, max mana 250, skill damage 5%, 12 cost card. Spirit Armor, magic defense 15%, healing 6 per second, max health 270, 12 cost card. Pistol of the Buddha, active effect, magic explosion, chooses target and emits powerful laser beam and hit enemy. Yeah, some of these aren't translated well. Damage 210, basically it's just, you just point a pistol at somebody and shoot them, I guess. That is a 13 cost card. Kingslayer, damage 16, max health 70, passive effect, attack range, grants bonus attack range for ranged heroes only. Additional attack range, 100 units. That always confuses me when they just put like a 100 there. Like what does that mean? What does that mean? Purchase restrictions is 1. That is a 14 cost card, and effects for ranged heroes only. That you can't just put that on Chimera to make his axes hit longer ways away. Flashing Doll, it's a active item, teleports yourself in a maximum of 1800 range, so it's just a blink. It's just a blink. It seems to have a passive effect, but don't know what that is because it's in Korean. And that is a 14 cost card. Battle Hammer, this is a passive, damage 15, healing 5 per second, splash damage 30, max health 70, attack speed 10%. Passive effect does cleave damage when hit enemy. Splash damage rate 20%. So this is just deals extra AoE damage, and it's only for melee heroes. So what was that? Thunder Cleaver? Was that the card in Paragon? That's what it kind of is. And is a 14 cost card. Nabori Laurel Wreath. This is an active item, damage 5, attack speed 10%. Active effect, Burning Soul, chooses target and make them silenced for 5 seconds. Also makes them take more damage. Duration 2.5 seconds. Defense debuff 30%. So it's a gag order. And that is a 15 cost card. Fortified Amulet, max health 200, damage 10, attack speed 5%, 15 cost card. CMS Harp is an active, max health 300, healing 2 per second, skill cooldown reduce 10%, increase the movement speed of friendly units within a certain radius, duration 4.5 seconds, bonus movement speed 40%. Sage's Wand. This is an active item, max health 150, mana regen 1 per second, max mana 240, skill damage 5%, active effect paralysis, select enemy hero and slow them in huge rate. So slow them down a lot. Duration 3 seconds, movement speed slow 60%. This is a 17 cost card. Chaos Staff, another active item, max health 100, move speed 3%, mana regen 0.6 seconds, max mana 90, skill damage 5%. Have no idea what that active effect is, but it is a 17 cost card. Dread Sword. Damage 15, movement speed 3.5%, max health 140, attack speed 10%, mana regen 0.4 per second, max mana 90, skill damage 5%. This is a 17 cost card. Phasma's Beads. Max health 180, defense 4%. It is a passive item, but the passive effect is when taking more than a certain amount of damage at once, if the Phasma is charged, It completely blocks the attack, stun, silence, etc. are not blocked. Damage defense, minimum damage 130. So basically if you take more than 130 damage at once, it will block the ability as long as it's not a stun or a silence or like a slow or something. I think that's what that means. Little confused on that one. 18 cost card. Poison Sword, damage 17, physical damage pin 5%. This is a passive item, and the passive effect is corruption, reduces target defense for 7 seconds when you hit the enemy. Defense reduced 15%, so that's going to be pretty good. Poison Sword does not stack, however, the duration will be reset when stacked. Poison Sword does not stack, however, the duration will be reset when stacked. I think that just means whenever the duration falls off, if you hit them again, it'll apply the stack once more. That is an 18 cost card. Commander's Shield, max health 220. This is a passive item, I'm sorry. Maximum health 220, defense 10%, magic defense 7%, healing 6 per second. Passive effect is defense. Each time you take damage, there's a chance to block a certain amount of damage. Defense rate is 20%, damage reduce is 30. So you have a 20% chance of reducing damage by 30. I think that's what that means. And it's an 18 cost card. Sword of the Dead, passive item, physical damage pin 5%, critical 5%, damage 17, attack speed 10%, passive effect I don't know, and it is a 18 cost card. Reflection Shield, active item, instant activation, stat bonus, max health 250, defense 5%, damage 5, passive effect damage reflection. When you are attacked with your reflective shield activated, all damage is reflected. The damage still suffers. So duration 3, damage 50%. So it's basically Thorn Yomi. 20 cost card. Soul Sword, active item, damage 10, active effect, Shadow Walk. Your body becomes transparent and becomes very difficult to see. When utilizing a skill or if attacked during this state, you are released from stealth. It is a 15-second duration. Passive effect cutoff. When you intake damage, you may not utilize the Shadow Sword for 10 seconds. So if you take damage, you can't just peace out and blink into the shadow plane. So this just gives you stealth. It just gives you stealth on activation as long as you're not in combat. So 20 cost card. Svetlana Zebra, passive item, stat bonus, defense 25%, max health 200, skill cooldown reduce. So that's a CDR item, 10%. Use effect. It said passive item, but it says use effect. Passive effect. Okay, god damn it. Roar increases the movement speed of nearby allies by 7%. So I assume anybody around you is going to have their speed increased by 7%. 20 cost card. Lucky Feather. This is an active item. Max health 400, healing 6 per second, defense 13%. The use effect is Avatar. For a short duration, gives immunity for every magic damage and unusual condition. So it's immunity to abilities and any sort of slows, roots, or stuns. So there you go, 22 cost card. Magic Guard's armor, max health 400, max mana 200, defense 5%, magic defense 25%, and it's got 15% CDR. That is a 22 cost card. Angel's Boots. This is an active item. Movement speed 7%. Max health 50. When used, assigns one of the allies on the map to teleport to the location. If an ally dies, they will move to where they are. So it kind of gives you Muriel's Reversal of Fortune. I guess that's why they call it Angel's Boots. That is a 22 cost card. Nazgul Reactor. Magic damage penetration 10%, skill cooldown reduce CDR 5%, mana regen 1.6 per second, max mana 370, skill damage 10%, skill cast range 100. So this is another one that increases your cast range for your skills, and you can purchase 2 of them. I wonder if that stacks. I wonder if you just keep extending your skill range so where you're just straight up artillery firing stuff over into the enemy. A 23 cost card. Victory Flag, passive item, defense 15%, magic defense 15%, max health 100, max mana 300. Use effect Victory Flag reduces the movement speed of nearby enemies by 10%. 23 cost card. Dragon Droppings, passive item, max health 620, healing 14 per second, damage 10, attack speed 5%, and you can only buy 2 of them. 23 cost card. Masamune, whatever. Move speed 3.5%, damage 27, attack speed 20%. And that is a 23 cost card. Mutiny, damage 18, max health 70, passive effect Mutiny. When you basic attack target, gives bonus damage based on max health gap, giving 100 maximum. Damage 5%, max bonus damage 150. So just however much health they have is however much more damage you're going to deal. 24 cost card. Cherry Temper, passive item, damage 23, crit 14%, critical damage 8%. You can only get 2 of them, and it is a 26 cost card. Bloodstone, max health 450, mana regen 3.1 per second, revive time 35 seconds, max mana 380. You can only buy 1, and you cannot sell it. It costs 27 points, and it seems that it decreases the amount of time that that it takes for you to revive after you die, which is really nice. That's super powerful if you're losing, especially. Frozen Hands, passive item, defense 20%, max health 600, healing 3 per second, and use effect, passive Frostbite reduces the use effect, and then it says passive. This is really... Frostbite reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies by 15%. So I guess you have to use it in order to, whenever somebody attacks you, for them to have their attack speed slowed. Be a useful tank item. 27 points. Ruler is a passive item. Damage 15, mana regen 0.6 per second, skill damage 10%, max mana 210, attack speed 10%, max health 190. You can only get 1 of them, and it costs 30 points. Time Backing Bracelet, active effect, refresh cooldowns, reset cooldowns for all items and skills except the ultimate. The cooldown of the Time Back Bracelet is not reset, and you can only buy 1 of them. Once you buy it, you cannot sell it back. This is something I've seen in a lot of other MOBAs. Just straight resets all of your cooldowns. So you could hit somebody with a Bramble Patch on Fae and an Untamed Growth and Harvest Nettles in the face. Hit this and then do her ultimate combo. Throw down the ultimate, do all that shit once again. So you could really pump out a lot of damage or a lot of shielding with this Time Backing Bracelet. 30 cost seems like a deal. Yingmai Cartel, skill CDR 20%, max health 250, max mana 40, damage 10, attack speed 10%, defense 15%. You can only buy 1 of them, and they cost 30 points. Mechanical Converting Stone, skill cooldown, CDR 20%, mana regen 2.6 per second, max mana 400, skill damage 5%. Active effect, it says passive item, but the active effect steals enemy health when you give magic damage. So that is passive, it's just lifesteal on abilities. And that's 10% lifesteal. Nuclear Bomb, passive item, damage 42, physical damage pin 20%. You can only buy 2 of them, and they cost 32 points. Shining Star is an active item, attack speed 45%, damage 12, active effect, lights observation for short duration, makes hero as a detector who can detect every invisible unit near to them. Again, this is a shit on Kalari card. Duration 15 seconds, position exposed duration 10 seconds, position exposed range 1400 units. You can only buy 2 of them. I don't know why you would buy 2 of them, and probably that 45% attack speed, and it costs 33 points. Vampire Cloak. This is an active item, lifesteal 6%, damage 14, max health 200, attack speed 5%. Grants massive lifesteal bonus for a short time. That duration is 2.5 seconds. Lifesteal bonus is 120%. You can only buy 1 of them, and they cost 33 points. Strafe is an active item. The damage is 34, attack speed 30%, magic defense 15%. Active effective Strafe removes all crowd control effects on you and increases movement speed for a certain period of time. Seems very powerful. Duration 2 seconds. Bonus movement speed 30%. That is a 34 cost card. Last one, Missamanath. Passive item, skill bonus, skill damage 25%, magic damage penetration 10%, mana regen 0.4 per second, max mana 90. You can only buy 2 of them, and they cost 34 points. So that's it, guys. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I'm going to go in game now and go ahead and test some of these cards out and see how they actually work and see what happens as far as what the description says, and especially the ones where the description is in Korean. I'm going to try and figure out what they do. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put this out to you guys so that you can start planning which cards you want to build for which hero, and trying to do some fun and crazy stuff on the 18th. But for now, this is the Mangoose signing off. You guys have a good one. Mangoose! Did he say Lieutenant Belika? It's not Bellica, it's Belika? What the? That's like the substitute teacher on Key and Peele, where he's talking to Blake. Hey, Balake! Balake! What the shit?